Hello, everybody. It's Friday afternoon, 5:30, and thank you for being with us here at the FACC-SLAA. Always here to give you some important information and pertinent information that could help you promote your business as well as thrive through the challenging times at this time. Before we begin, let's hear from our sponsors.
Ang pagpupulong at pagpapahayag na ito ay nagmula sa pagkakaisa ng CPA, Clean Power Alliance at Filipino-American Chamber of Commerce, SouthBay, Los Angeles area.
We're back, and I am so happy because today we have a very special presentation for you. Not only is this person a part of the community, but also with us as part of the board of directors of the Filipino-American Chambers of Commerce from its inception. We have today with us Mr. Fred Docdocil, and he is President Emeritus of the Filipino-American Chamber of Commerce of SouthBay, Los Angeles area. But today he will be presenting with us another hat that he has on, along with his other hats that he figuratively and literally uses. With me to interview him is Kat Iniba, one of our board of directors as well as a TV personality. And we are so glad to have you here today, Fred. Thank you. And the floor is yours.
Thank you. It's interesting being on the other side of the interview. But thank you so much to the Phil-Am Chamber of Commerce of SouthBay, Los Angeles area. Like I said, my name is Fred Docdocil. President Emeritus, founding director of FACC-SLAA. But as Janice mentioned, I do wear multiple hats, literally and figuratively. And tonight, I am representing Mabuhay Credit Union, which I'm very, very proud to say is one of the very first full-service financial institutions that specifically caters to the financial services needs of the Filipino-American and greater community here in the South Bay, Los Angeles area and beyond. So I'm very excited for this. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for. Can you hear me, Fred? Okay. First of all, one of our main questions I wanted to ask is what the difference is between a credit union and a bank.
Sure. And that's actually, it does kind of confuse a lot of people. Obviously, it's very, very similar. You know, a credit union is similar to a bank in that we offer a lot of the same products and services that a typical bank does. However, unlike a bank, credit unions are not for profit. Okay. At the end of the day, as long as you have a savings account with the credit union, you are a shareholder. Literally, you're a co-owner of the financial institution. Okay. Now, similar to a typical bank, we are also both state and federally regulated and insured. But on the credit union world, we have a defined field of membership. Okay. Not just anyone off the street can walk in. And that's actually the reason why our credit union has partnership with, among others, FACC-SLAA. In order for individuals to be able to open an account, to get eligibility to open their own account here with us. Another thing that sets a credit union apart from the typical bank is that credit unions, we operate under more of a collaborative rather than a competitive approach. We work together with other credit unions in order to service our membership better. So again, similar, but there's definitely some key differences between a credit union and a bank.
Yeah. Now, you mentioned that you don't just let anybody come in and open an account. I know one way is through Filipino-American Chamber of Commerce, South Bay, Los Angeles area. But what are others? Do you want to talk about others?
Sure. We actually, in the past 2.5 years now, we've opened multiple partnerships within the community. These are, we call them SEGs and association partnerships. SEGs means select employee group, and then obviously the association. So these are companies, associations, and organizations that apply for a free partnership with us. And like I mentioned, the Phil-Am Chamber, South Bay, Los Angeles area is definitely one. Not just here though. There are also chambers In Greater Los Angeles,
Really?
Orange County, Hollywood, Tri-County.
Okay.
The Filipino community of Carson is another partner. There's a couple of different Lions clubs that are a member of our partnership, along with the Philippine Independence Day Foundation. And that's actually part of my job as business development coordinator, is to find these companies and organizations that would like to offer the products and services that the credit union offers to their staff or their members for free. So that's part of the benefit that we offer our community through these partners that we have.
Okay.
Yes,
And
and our
sorry.
chamber will be a part of that as well. So I think it's in the works that we're trying to get. Well, it is already
It
here.
already is, yeah.
Yeah.
Already there. So if you're part of the chamber, be a member of the chamber, you are already eligible to open account and use the services that Mabuhay can offer as part of the Chamber of Commerce of FACC-SLAA. And
That's correct. The funny thing about that actually is that the partnership between FACC-SLAA and Mabuhay Credit Union was actually initiated, funnily enough, during my term as president of FACC-SLAA. So, it's worked out. This was back in 2017. So I'm really excited about this partnership.
Well, we're
Wow.
also proud to be a SEC partner. Legal Real Estate and Financial Services is also a SEC partner, right? So we're very proud of that. Yes. So Kat, continue on with the question.
Well, I noticed, Fred, that you talked about a lot of the Filipino groups. Is it just the Filipino-only customers?
No.
Anybody, right?
Yeah, and it's actually open. All right. So on the topic of like the field of membership, right? The ethnicity. I'm going to go ahead and share the history of the company, if that's okay. So back in 1951, for perspective, that's the year my father was born. So that's obviously a while back, right? 1951 was when the parent company of Mabuhay Credit Union was founded. And initially, it was created to help the Japanese American community. Now, if you picture the time, when the company was first founded, 1951, shortly after World War II, right? So there was this massive anti-Japanese, anti-Asian discrimination, which unfortunately is still happening today. But one of the bad things that happened that time was a lot of the Japanese Americans living in the SouthBay, particularly in Gardena, where the company was founded, they were sent to concentration camps. And, they stayed there a couple of years. When they came back, they lost everything, right? Now, for them to kind of rebuild their lives, they can't just walk into a typical bank and apply for a loan. Again, the racism was very rampant at that time. So what they did was, in the spirit of what we Filipinos call the bayanihan spirit, the individuals within the community that had the resources, they pulled those resources together and started loaning it out. Okay. In the Philippines, they would call this a cooperative because that's what they're doing, right? But 1951, it steadily grew from there, and obviously there's a lot of growth over the decades. However, recent years, there's been a lot of changes to the Japanese American community, particularly in the SouthBay, Los Angeles area, in Gardena specifically. A lot of companies, including Toyota, Honda, actually starting with Nissan way back, like 10 years ago, Alpine, Kubota, those massive Japanese companies, they pulled up stakes out of SouthBay and they relocated elsewhere in the country. Now, what happened is a lot of the immigration that came from Japan for these jobs, they follow those companies, right? And then another change that happened was the younger generation of Japanese Americans, they acculturated to the community. They didn't necessarily need an ethnic company to support them. They were just as happy going to another bank or a credit union than an ethnic one, right? And the parent company's name is Nikkei Credit Union. So the leadership decided that it was time to expand. Market research showed them that Filipino-Americans, despite the fact that we're the second largest Asian group in the US, and actually we're pretty much neck and neck with Chinese here in California, we really didn't have a full service financial institution helping us.
Right.
Up until recently, all that we really had were remittance companies. Now, nothing specifically wrong about that, but if you take a look at it, what that means is that the ultimate customer of those remittance companies are the Filipinos and the Philippines, right? But for PhilAbs here, if you needed a checking account, if you needed a credit card, if you need to purchase a car, if you need, a certificate of deposit, CD, or refinance your home, you needed to go elsewhere for that. And so, all things being said, there was a need for the company to expand, and the PhilAm community was very underserved. Now, 60 plus years ago, the field of membership for Nikkei Credit Union was someone of Japanese ancestry.
Right.
This current day and age, race is a protected class, right? So we can't just outright say that the credit union, Mabuhay Credit Union, is for someone of Filipino descent. The way we work around that is through the SEG partnership. So yes, while the name Mabuhay and obviously everything that we do, it is geared towards the Filipino and the Filipino-American community, but we are still inclusive. We can service anybody. If you're not currently employed or a member of one of our partners, the PhilAm Chamber of Commerce of SouthBay, Los Angeles area is a way for you to become eligible to open an account with a credit union. So long story, to answer your question, Kat, is that we are inclusive. We can help anybody.
Nice, thank you. So you mentioned all of the accounts that you guys offer. Can you tell us a little bit more about the deposit accounts?
Sure. We focus more on the consumer side of things, but we do offer, again, the savings account. That's kind of the intro, right? That's the basic, and for that you only really need a minimum deposit of $1 once you're eligible. Okay, we have two different kinds of youth accounts. One is called the UTMA account, which is Uniform Transfer to Minors account. These are for kids that are less than 14 years of age. And then between 14 to 17 years of age, they basically are like a joint, so that's two different kinds of youth accounts. We have a checking accounts. We actually have multiple kinds of checking accounts, including one for our senior members, which offers greater security and protection. And then we offer on the investment side of things, deposit accounts. We have money market accounts. We have IRAs, both traditional and Roth. These are, individual retirement accounts. And then we also have, we call them share certificates. They're CDs, basically the time deposit, right? So those are the types of deposit accounts that we offer.
Nice. And you also offer loans, right?
Yes, that's definitely a big piece, for our community. And, at the end of the day, we say, nagpapautang po kami. But yes, we do offer consumer loans. So personal loans, whether it's bill consolidation or, emergencies or, when the whole situation clears up, vacation, hopefully. We also offer vehicle loans, both new and used vehicles. We offer Visa credit cards, real estate loans. We actually offer refinance loans, and then home equity lines of credit, HELOCs. Janice obviously is quite familiar on the real estate side of things, but we offer these types of loan products, and in general, compared to a traditional bank, a credit union is definitely going to be offering competitive rates, actually both on the deposit accounts and on the loan side of things. On the deposit accounts, typically a credit union is going to be higher rates than a typical bank. Whereas on the loan side of things, the credit union, usually it's going to be lower than the typical bank. Reason for that is if you have a savings account, you want your money to grow faster. Flip side of the coin, if you have a loan, you want that rate to be lower, right? So at the end of the day, again, because our board of directors, our members, and everything that we do is geared towards servicing our members, all these policies and procedures that the credit union has really is to the benefit of the membership base.
Oh,
That's awesome. I just unmuted myself. That's awesome, Fred. Hey, you know what? We'd like to acknowledge the viewers that were with us today, taking time out their Friday afternoon. I would like to say hello to Merwin Montenegro. I think he is a president of the
Yeah.
Tri-County FACC. And Miss Faith, I think I lost my sound. And she has a question for us. So I'm going to put that on the board right there. She's asking, are you participating with Main Street
We
lending?
are actually working on that. Most of what we do, like I mentioned, are most of the lending that we are offering right now are on the consumer side of things. We do already work with Main Street as far as like checking accounts and things like that. But as far as the lending side of things, that's something that hopefully we'll be able to roll that out sooner rather than later. But thank you, Dr. Faith, for that question.
Thank you, Fred. Kat?
yes. Actually, I was wondering because I think there is a location in Torrance. Correct me if I'm wrong. South Bay.
We're Carson. Yeah, it's
Carson.
Carson.
Way
Yes.
off. So how do we
Sure.
get access to accounts and funds? Is it just going to your location?
Well, in this current day and age, everybody has
Yeah.
online access, right?
Yeah.
We also have the app. So there's
Mhm.
online, there's mobile. But
Mhm.
you know how I mentioned earlier that credit unions collaborate more than we compete with each other. Our credit union is actually part of the co-op shared network. And what that is there's roughly about 5,000 shared branches across the
Wow.
United States. And there's nearly 30,000 shared ATMs across the country.
Wow.
This is how we, as a lot smaller of a financial institution, can compete against the big boys. Like the Wells Fargo's, the Chase, the Bank of America's, right? They have thousands of branches, thousands of ATMs. But because different credit unions across the country, we pool our resources together, um, you don't necessarily have to visit the location in Carson, which is where I'm located. We're right on the corner of Carson and Main. So we're pretty
Okay.
much in between the 405 and the 110 freeway on
Mhm.
Carson.
Mhm.
And our parent company is based in Gardena, which is just 5 miles up the 405. But you not only have access to those two branches, you can actually there's a phone number that you can shoot a text to. You can text your zip code, and it'll give you the locations of these shared branches in your area. Not only the shared branches, but also the shared ATMs. As long as you see the co-op logo, it's like triangle. As
Yes.
long as you see that logo on these ATMs, you can use that machine surcharge free. You'd find them at like 7-Elevens, for example, Rite Aids, at Dunkin' Donuts, Costco's. Again, as long as you see the co-op logo, you can use that machine surcharge free. So that's another benefit that we offer to our membership. Not only the online access through the website, not just the mobile app, but also the shared branches and the shared ATMs. Obviously, on top of physically coming here, which hopefully I get a chance to kind of welcome you to Mabuhay Credit Union, but that's not the only way that you can access your funds.
And the credit union is also FDIC insured, right, Fred?
FDIC, that's actually on the banking side of things. We have something similar. It's called the NCUA, and similar to FDIC, we also have our deposits insured up to $250,000 per depositor. So same kind of concept, but it's specific to the credit union space, but similar to FDIC. Your deposits are insured up to $250,000 per depositor. So yes, again, it's the names are different, but in general, what they're doing, it's very similar to what a bank would be offering.
Yeah, it's because it's the common misconception that the big banks are only the ones that are insured and the credit unions are not, because it's not FDIC, and that's why I wanted to.
Right. Yeah.
You
I mean, it obviously there's a legitimate claim by the banks to kind of rest their hat on the fact that their deposits are insured. But that's not to say that just because their deposits are insured doesn't mean that ours are particularly at risk. Ours are also covered. It's just by a different entity, but it's the same amount is covered also as FDIC. So $250,000.
And I believe that right now you're also giving a much higher interest rate on your CGs, your long-term deposits, as well as lower interest rate on vehicle loans. I kind of heard that from your happy clients.
Yes. That's that's definitely something that we are very excited about, because at the end of the day, in the credit union space, the policies and procedures are voted upon by our board of directors that are themselves selected from our membership, right? So ultimately, their best interests are those that are better for the membership. And as I mentioned earlier, if you have a deposit account, you want that to go faster. And then if you're paying off a loan, you want that rate to be lower, right? So, it's a win-win. It's a win for our membership, because again, if you're saving that money, it goes up faster, and then you're paying off your loans faster also.
This being a part of the Nikkei's credit union's idea to serve the Filipino community, how is it that they decided to open their branch in Carson and not, say, Filipino Town or Cerritos, where there's also big pool of Filipino clientele?
Yeah. The interesting thing is, so the concept for expanding started about 8 years ago now, right? And that's when they started to really tinker with the idea of expansion. Now, initially, they looked, obviously, Nikkei is a Japanese company, right? So they looked at the other Asian American groups. That's the next level up: Japanese American, Asian American. They looked at the top 4 Asian American groups in the South Bay. They looked at the Chinese, the Koreans, the Indians, and the Filipinos. But they realized what the other 3 already had multiple financial institutions assisting them. And again, Filipinos, up until recently, all we really had were the remittance companies. Now, that's where the market research started, happening, and they looked into the areas in Southern California in general, right? And what they found out was that the city of Carson, which is obviously in the South Bay, it really earned its designation as an all-American city. And I can actually say this wearing my other hat, which is as a public relations commissioner of the city of Carson. But the city of Carson is roughly about 100,000 population. It's very diverse in the sense that it's pretty much a quarter of each: quarter Black, quarter white, quarter Hispanic, quarter Asian, majority of which are Filipinos. So you're looking at a city that has just about 100,000 population and just about 20,000 Filipinos. And then add to that the fact that there's others that don't necessarily live here, but they work, they play, or they pray here in the city of Carson. Actually, just down the street from us, we actually have Saint Philomena Church.
Yes.
We call it Saint Filipina. Right across the street from our office here is Seafood City. We have Jollibee, Chowking, Red Ribbon. We have Tambuli here, which is one of our partners. Goldilocks. Down the street, right where the Carson Community Center is, we actually have a 17-foot high statue, a monument to Jose Rizal. The city of Carson, and I'm very proud to have been involved with a lot of these, and I actually have some of the certificates here. But the city of Carson, again, because of the density of the Phil-Am community, we've actually proclaimed the June 12th, Philippine Independence Day. That's proclaimed here in the city. The 4th of July is officially Filipino-American Friendship Day. And our Chamber of Commerce was actually involved in an event where we set a Guinness World Record on our 4th of July celebration a couple of years ago. The entire month of October has been proclaimed to be Philippine-American History Month, October 25th is Larry Itliam Day, which is one of the labor rights leaders that was he was actually the one that invited Cesar Chavez and his union to join the Great Delano Grape Strike. And then Rizal's birthday is also celebrated here. So again, all these different things, not just the population, not just the support of the community, but also the fact that this is kind of the hub for the Filipino-American community. It really made sense for Mabuhay Credit Union to be open here. And we're literally on the corner of Carson and Main Streets here in the city of Carson. So I think we made the right choice in terms of
That is
location.
so true. I mean, this is an all Filipino town here. Everywhere you look, you'll have Filipino food, you'll have Filipino friends, you'll have Filipino
Right.
smiles. It even smells like tuyo and dying when you go around, the residences areas here.
That's absolutely true.
Yeah, because I used to miss so much from the Philippines before, but no longer because we live here and everywhere you look, you find something, even balot if you want to look for it.
That's absolutely true. I mean, the running joke is if you walk, behind a group and you do, everybody turns.
You're like,
Well, and yes, Nikkei did have a great choice using Carson as their first branch, allocation for the Mabuhay Credit Union. And they're so lucky to have somebody like you who is already well rooted in the community, to start it with, because there is, I don't think anybody else you could be able to fill your shoes the way you did. And the growth of the Mabuhay Credit Union from the start, because we were there from the start. We even cut the ribbon, for the opening. Yes.
Well, not just cutting the ribbon, but the Chamber of Commerce was very, very instrumental in Mabuhay Credit Union, well beyond, before we even opened. Like I mentioned, I actually signed on behalf of the Chamber 3 years ago to become a partner of the credit union. That was before I even started here. But when the credit union, when Nikkei decided to expand into specifically the Filipino-American community, our leadership actually joined our Chamber of Commerce. Picture this, we have Hernandez as our president and CEO, John Hernandez. We have two VPs, Conrad Tan and Jay Lee, all of them Filipino, and all of them are, along with myself, lifetime members of FACC-SLAA. And as I mentioned, it was during my term as president of FACC-SLAA where they did, identify me to kind of run, help open this location here. So I definitely owe FACC-SLAA a lot because, I've always been all about the community, and that really kind of channeled that passion of mine into a profession wherein, I get to do what I love and get paid for it. You know what they say is that if you do something that you love, never work and never will, that's literally my case, because, obviously we're doing an essential service to the community. We're helping our kababayans as well as the greater community here in the SouthBay. And I definitely have no qualms being branded as Mabuhay Credit Union wherever I go. And despite this current pandemic that has pretty much dried up all of the face-to-face meetings that I'm usually at, everything's transitioned online. And the beauty of that is that just yesterday I attended the Philam Chamber of Commerce Orange County's Power Networking Lunch. The day before that, I attended FACC Tri-County, which is Riverside, San Bernardino, and a portion of LA. I attended their meeting. And prior to that, I attended the COFAC, which is the Coalition of Filipino-American Chambers of Commerce, not just in Southern California, but inclusive of Texas. So, the internet is a great equalizer, right? I mean, yes, it's nice to attend events. It's definitely, important to press the proverbial flesh, but at the same time, having the internet and having these meetings virtually, it really allows for that reach to extend beyond geography. And that's definitely something that we were able to position ourselves to avail of.
Absolutely. And I think that now is a great time for people to really take advantage of the online services that you also offer as well, right, Fred? And
Yes,
even
yes.
without your office, I mean, I can definitely say that it's always nice to have a banker that personally knows you for your personal and your business needs. I cannot stress that enough because in a big bank, you're nothing but a number. You're nothing but in an account, but with credit union, they treat you as family. They treat you as a person and they know you by name. So whenever you have issues, and sometimes we do, personal, whether personal or business wise, we get into snags. And you know what? You don't mess with your financial stuff. You know what I mean? So if you have a banker inside a bank that could help facilitate that, it really just takes a lot of your headaches away. Especially for thriving business, these small business and thriving businesses. And so
You're absolutely right in that typical banks, I mean, for obvious reasons, each transaction, pretty much literally a dollar sign, right? With us, because we're a lot smaller than a typical bank, we know our members personally. And again, given this current, pandemic that we're in right now, obviously masks are required to come here. So the joke is, it's no longer frowned upon to walk into a financial institution with a mask and ask for money. But I can't tell you how many times I've been, I've received comments from our members that when they walk in, my staff greets them by name, despite the fact that they're wearing a mask, they have a hat on, and I mean, again, we're a lot smaller than a typical big bank, so we know these individuals personally, and I think that there's a lot to say about that because, again, I mean, we're dealing in finance, right? It's important to have that trust factor, but at the same time, too, the personal aspect to it definitely cannot be denied, right? Yes. I mean, it's important to conduct business with individuals that you know and you trust, and hopefully, I have been successful in terms of projecting that out there, but I can definitely vouch for my team here, from leadership to our staff. Everyone definitely works with the members' best interest at heart, and I'm extremely proud to be affiliated with the team that I have here, to have the opportunity to kind of lead the charge, so to speak, in terms of representing not just the company, but the community at large. That definitely says a lot about about us as a people, right? I mean, at the end of the day, it's trust plays a big role in this, and I'd like to say that we've done a pretty decent job in doing that.
You have definitely, and you have embodied what we as a chamber is here for as well. We need to support local businesses. We need to support local families that work within those businesses, and we need to financially support those businesses as well with your financial services. And also, with every single business, it's really important to have that personal factor. That's how we survive. That's how we keep going. How we keep our economy going. And somebody once told me that it's better to be a big fish in a small pond than a small fish in a big aquarium or a big sea, right? Because then you're a little bit more visible, and once you say something, your voice can be heard. And I'm so proud that a lot of your board of directors and advisors are community members themselves, so our issues gets heard and addressed. You see what I mean? So if somehow in a large bank you want to complain something, there's a big chance that they will never hear it, because you're way down the totem pole, But here in something like the Mabuhay Credit Union, we as a community gets heard. And that is something that you can't buy. That's really something that's so valuable in this day and age now. I mean, they always say it's who you know, right?
I mean, you definitely hit the nail on that head, and I definitely would like to piggyback of what you just mentioned, to acknowledge these individuals. If you could pull up, yes, thank you, Kat. So what Mabuhay Credit Union did was, we wanted to hear from our community, right? Because at the end of the day, our credit union, I've already mentioned time and again that we want to provide products and services that are beneficial to our community. So what we did was we created an advisory council. We went around and selected individuals, respected individuals in their own respective fields in the Phil-Am community. So we actually have our Chamber of Commerce is pretty well represented right here. We got a couple of presidents, Emeriti, so Evelyn, Cynthia, Brother Henrik, and Brother Alex are also past board members. Tito Elito Santorina is a former councilman and mayor pro tem here in the city of Carson. We have Kathy Chicas. She's a chief, a COO for another credit union, Farmers Credit Union. We actually have several young folks. We have several student leaders, Erica Guico, Monica Montserrat, and Francis Ravillo. And we also have, business owners, Lemuel Guyab, who owns Silog. We've actually been working with them to honor our frontliners. So these are individuals that, again, they've paid their dues. They're respected in their field, and we basically use them as a sounding board to ensure that what we're offering is really beneficial to our community. Now, another thing also that you mentioned, Janice, in terms of being a big fish in our small pond, we actually do have that, and I definitely would like to give a shout to our president and CEO, John Hernandez. 12 or 13 years ago now, he actually is one of the founders of SCCUA, which is the Southern California Credit Union Alliance. And if I'm not mistaken, it's just about 60 different credit unions across Southern California. And again, this is a kababayan, right? So I'm definitely proud of that. So despite the fact that Mabuhay, is for all intents and purposes, it's a new brand, and that we've physically had this branch, just a little over a year here. The brand itself has been around for 2 years, but the roots does go back to 1951, and the leadership that we have between John and Jay and Conrad is our ambassador. There's definitely a wealth of knowledge and experience, leading us. And again, we have the advisory council that is supporting us as well. So we have that part covered. There's actually been, from our knowledge, there's been 3 different attempts to open up a Filipino financial institution in the past in Los Angeles and San Diego. And they were missing a couple of key ingredients. I mean, one is leadership, right? And I just mentioned that between John, Jay, and Conrad, we have that in droves. The second is that there's definitely a huge need for the capital, right? There's the human capital, and then there's the financial capital. And the fact that Mabuhay Credit Union is a division of Nikkei Credit Union, we're a DBA of Nikkei Credit Union, so we do have the strength and the stability of a 60-plus-year-old company that's backing us up. Not to mention the financial capital, right? So that's very, very important. Because it does give us leverage, and that we have the luxury of taking the time to do things the right way instead of attempting to cut corners to save time. Obviously there's goals and there's projections and things that have to be met, but at the same time we're secure in the knowledge that we do have that support backing us up, and it starts with the leadership that we have, from the management standpoint, as well as the advisory council and the board of directors. So we again, it's kind of a perfect blend right now, and I'm just very fortunate to have the opportunity to sit in this live stream and represent the company.
Well, definitely heavy hitters in not just the community, but the entire financial industry as well. Because we don't, people like us don't know exactly the histories of who we bank with, but knowing that personally, it's like two-way process. Now your people, but we also know our bank, and that's valuable. That's something that, again, it's cannot be, you cannot set a price to that, and you can just imagine how proud we are in the chamber that we are so much involved with this bank. We even feel like we own it too. True, right?
Well, you have an account with us, so you're a co-owner.
Right?
Yeah,
Member
yeah,
of the credit union, you definitely are part owners, correct, Fred? Can you elaborate on that? Because
That's right.
most of us would like to know how that works.
Yes. So, I mentioned we're not for profit. Ultimately, the dividends go back towards the membership.
Right.
And as long as you have a savings account, which is the requirement to open your account, you earn those dividends. And as such, you're a shareholder, you're a co-owner of the financial institution. Whereas if it was a typical big bank, there's a small group of individuals that are making, for lack of a better term, they're making money off of their customers. Whereas in the credit union world, our members are the owners that benefit from the financial institution. I mean, again, you have access to our loan products, but if you have the savings account and you're availing of that, you're earning dividends on that. So yes, when you say that you feel like the Chamber of Commerce is an owner, that's absolutely correct. The Chamber of Commerce has an account with Mabuhay Credit Union. Janice, you personally have an account with Mabuhay Credit Union. So really, you're a shareholder of the financial institution. As can anybody that opens an account with us, right?
yeah.
That's true. So, hey, everyone, this is an open invitation to join the Filipino-American Chamber of Commerce of South Bay, Los Angeles area and become a member and part owner, shareholder of the Mabuhay Credit Union, which is the number one, or probably the only one Filipino, dedicated bank that serves our community. So, Kat,
Yes.
maybe you should ask the rest of the questions.
Well, you mentioned that you not only serve the Filipino community through this credit union, but also the bank and you do a lot in the community. I believe I saw at one point you gave out scholarships, am I right? And then you've had drives.
Yes, actually, we from my office, I can see into the conference room, and we actually have a collection of donations. One of the campaigns that our credit union has had this year has been a donation drive for college students. These are the needy and then the homeless college students, which, believe it or not, it's actually a huge issue even before this pandemic shut down campuses, right? So I've had conversations with Cal State Dominguez, which is located here in the city of Carson. We've actually already donated to El Camino College, which is close to our parent company in Gardena. And then next week, we're going to have Los Angeles Harbor College will be donating to their students. So this is these are donations that come from our credit union members. We have like clothing, some that are also professional attire for when these students go on interviews. We have blankets, we have food items, toiletries, things of that nature. And we've been really lucky in the sense that our membership have really been very generous. We actually had a chance to be featured when Steve Angeles from Balitang America and from Tayo News, he actually came to our branch and did a feature on this this donation drive that we're doing. So again, the pandemic has affected campuses across the country, but I'm really glad that we have the opportunity to support not just the students, which I mean obviously that's a big piece, but we also had an opportunity to honor our frontliners as well. Actually, if you don't mind, I'm going to go ahead and segue to that. In partnership with the Chamber of Commerce, Mabuhay Credit Union was able to support our first responders. We went to 8 different fire stations across the South Bay, and we were able to give them Filipino food. All right, so we partnered for that one. We partnered with one of our chamber members, Cuisina, in Long Beach, and we basically honored our firefighters with Filipino food, and then also we were able to work with the credit union was able to work with Lemuel Guiab and Silog in Torrance. We honored the medical frontliners at Harbor UCLA, which is down the street from the credit union. And it's again, this is a tremendous pandemic and it's affecting everybody. But it's really important for us to take that time to honor these individuals that are putting themselves at risk, right? And I don't think we can honor them enough, but we did in our own small way. We were able to do that. And again, I'm really grateful to have the opportunity to have these resources that I can help to direct one way, obviously through the Chamber of Commerce, but certainly through the credit union. And that's something that I'm really grateful to have that opportunity to service our community beyond helping our members, which obviously is important, but the next level to that is our greater community. And when you talk about the medical workers at the hospital, the first responders, and the students, this company has done what we can to support them. Just paying it forward. And again, that's part of being a not-for-profit, right? I mean, yes, obviously, as a business, profits are important, but at the same time, what we do have, we willingly share that to the community. And those are just 3 examples of things that we've done to support the community. So thank you so much, Kat, for bringing that up.
No, thank you and the credit union for reaching out to the community, especially during this time, during the pandemic, and saying, just one way of saying thanks to all the frontliners that are putting everybody else first before themselves.
Right. And what better way to say that than with Filipino food, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But not only that, I just really would like to spotlight, with pun intended, Fred here, with Fred here, because you are, I think, in my opinion, one of the most selfless person that, at any point in time there's a need, Fred is there for you. At any point in time that, say, this pandemic, if anybody else is not available, he'll be there for you. And, whenever he makes a commitment, by God, he will do everything he can to commit to that. And that's why a lot of people love you and trust you. And, you are a staple in our community, Fred. And I tell you, if you run for an office, I'm pretty sure you're going to have a lot of supporters, of course.
That's not in the plate right now, but
It is the truth. And, just with the work that you do for the Film Chamber of Commerce, we have so much more in store. I cannot hold myself with excitement on the new projects we are going to come on board with, of course, with Fred being part of the core group that will bring to you the new program that the Filipino-American Chamber of Commerce have put together, and is going to launch on September the 4th, the first Friday of September. So I'm going to have, either of you probably say something about it towards the end of this, because we have to bring back the spotlight to Fred with the Mabuhay Credit Union. So go back to, before we do that, we do have a question from one of our viewers. And the question is, does Mabuhay Credit Union have zero down payment program for first-time home buyers?
Thanks, Merwin. Merwin is, by the way, he's the president of FACC Tri-County. So they are also one of our partners here. Thanks for that question. On our real estate loans, we focus more on the refinance. Although we do have the capability to assist home buyers. We don't necessarily have a specific first-time home buyer program, although, again, we have resources that we can kind of assist our members still, but it's not an in-house per se. So unfortunately, Merwin, the answer is no on that one. We focus more, our real estate book is more to do with refinance as well as home equity lines of credits, or HELOCs. But thank you for that question.
Maybe they should look up Regal for that.
Yeah,
There
there you
you go.
go. Right.
Okay, go ahead, Kat.
I actually, Fred, am a follower of the Instagram page for Mabuhay Credit Union,
Mhm.
and there's this beautiful mural that I want you to tell us a little bit more about. I
Yeah,
know you know what I'm talking
Thank
about.
you. Thank you. And I actually have the
show that.
image if you
Yeah.
want to put that up. So, Mabuhay Credit Union, we like to consider ourselves as a community organization that just so happens to deal with finance. And the way we get an opportunity to highlight the artistic, the cultural, the historic, and the educational aspect of the Mabuhay community, i.e., the Filipino-American community, we actually commissioned the famous Filipino artist Eliseo Silva. If that name sounds familiar, if you're familiar with Southern California Filipino community, you will know that the city of Carson actually has a couple of his artworks. One down here, down the street here on Main, one on at the campus of Cal State Dominguez Hills. But in historic Filipino town, he has a huge mural that's called Gintong Kasaysayan, Gintong Kayamanan. And Mabuhay Credit Union, we had an opportunity to commission him to create what we call the Philippine Masters Collection. So we have three offices here in the branch. One is, if you want to pull that up again, Kat, sorry. One is the Luzonian Legacies. The second one is the Visayan Viajeros. My office is the Mindanaoan Maharlikans. And then the conference room is the Mabuhay ang Republika ng Pilipinas. Now, each of these pieces is 6 feet by 6 feet. So it's pretty good size. And again, each of these paintings are done in a style of a different Philippine master. If you look at that big one on top there, the Mabuhay Republika ng Pilipinas, in our conference room, that's done in the style of Luna. So that features his masterpiece there, and also features the Aguinaldo, the revolutionary, and Aguinaldo, the statesman, when he was signing the Declaration of Philippine Independence. Right there up front too is Manong Larry, and the Philippine labor workers that led the Great Delano Great Strike. So we're very proud of the fact that we have a touch of home in that sense. Unfortunately, not even Filipinos and Filipino Americans know some of the histories that we have here. For example, in my office, the Mindanaoan Maharlikans, we have the Phil-Am connection that we have here are the Philippine medical workers post 1965. And then the Visayan Viajeros, there's a feature there for the St. Malo Parish in Louisiana, which was where the first Filipino settlement was discovered. And then in the first office, the Luzonian Legacies, there's the Filipino students that came to the United States when the Philippines became a Commonwealth. So, again, in that sense, we go beyond just being a financial institution. It really makes us more of a comprehensive community organization. Again, that just so happens to deal with finance. But, if any of you are interested in a tour, let me know. I definitely take pride in these art pieces. Having the opportunity to admire them and point out the details, to our new members. Obviously, if you want to sign up, you're more than welcome to come in. But we do have these art pieces here in front. We actually also have the Mutya Barbie. This is from Mattel, which is a sister credit union of ours. They have Mattel Federal Credit Union there, but the Mutya Barbie, the designer, he's actually based here in Carson. So we were fortunate enough to have Carlisle sign, a handful of our Barbies that we raffled off to our members. So, there's a lot of things here that I think you would definitely would enjoy as as a Philam, and even just for the greater community. There's this is we try to go beyond a typical financial institution, right? So in that sense, there's just definitely a lot of things that you would be able to enjoy if you come in here.
Yes, you can definitely tell. I'm sorry, Janice.
I was just saying, well, you know what? We are so happy that this is local to us too, so we can come see it anytime. Well, besides the pandemic, of course. We have been one of the first ones. Actually, I was there when Eliseo was there, Fred. We had an opportunity to speak to him as he was finishing up the mosaic background there, which was very, very kind of a series. Of course, when you are in face to face with these artists, you feel that you're in the environment of richness and wisdom and talent, and I'm just so in awe of the work that he's done there. So
he's not just a talented painter, but he's definitely a historian, an educator, a storyteller, and we are very fortunate that we have some of his pieces here. And these are massive pieces, 6 feet by 6 feet, right? That's taller than I am. And a lot of Filipinos are, right?
Definitely a sight to see. So maybe if you are not a resident of Carson and you come to visit us here when it's open once again to do so, you should put Mabuhay Credit Union on your itinerary to just go and check out the art pieces that are here, because it's a mini museum per se, right? And of course, you will have an opportunity to meet and greet Mr. Fred in person. He's our local celebrity here in the city of Carson. Hey, can't you tell I'm a big fan of Fred, right? Any more good things about him besides, I'm the godmama of my dear cutie pie Cheska there. But go ahead, Kat, with more questions from our viewers.
Oh, yes. I think there was a question from... Oh, no, Merwin said thank you. Thanks, Fred.
Anytime.
I cannot wait to come and actually visit the credit union and check out the art gallery. I call it an art gallery.
It is. I mean, it really is.
And I have yet to open an account. I am a board member for FACC-SLAA.
You're eligible. Right.
I am eligible. Can I sign up online?
Yes. We actually have, you can visit us on our website, mabuhaycu.org. And again, that's just mabuhaycu for credit union.org. We're all over social media too. Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Yelp, name it, we're on there. and that's actually how a lot of our members get a hold of me, because I run our social media accounts, and like I mentioned, this isn't a 9 to 5 for me. This is, I get like Facebook messages at like 11 o'clock at night. I don't condone it, but I do. I mean, how many times have you had a need, for a bank, and you don't want to wait the next morning, right? I'm not waiting for the next morning to respond, but I receive it.
Again, the benefits of having your own banker, right? Hey, for those of you who are not yet members of the Mabuhay Credit Union, not to worry, it's very easy to become one. You can either just go ahead and call Fred, and that's the most simplest way to do it. But of course, you got to be a member of SEG partners or partners with the Mabuhay Credit Union. And that includes most of the FACC-SLAA members of the Coalition of the Filipino-American Chambers of Commerce. So you got to be a member of one of those chambers that are partners with Mabuhay Credit Union, or if not, we are open arms in the Philippine Chamber of Commerce of SouthBay, Los Angeles area to sign you up as a member, so you can go ahead and fill in an application to Mabuhay Credit Union. I think they always have, as of right now, as I know, that they have a standing promotion that you will, Mabuhay pays a portion of your membership to the FACC-SLAA. That's still standing, right, Fred?
Yes, the associate membership. We definitely still have that partnership with SLAA. For, if somebody was to come in to open an account and they're not with one of our existing SEG partners, we funnel them through the SLAA Chamber of Commerce to open their account here.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much, Fred. We just went over an hour.
Now that was quick.
Thank you so much for sharing all of that information. I know so much more about Mabuhay Credit Union, and not just from the banking perspective, but just everything that you guys do for the community, and everything's so customized, specialized, especially for the seniors that you were talking about. I need to talk to you more.
Sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Can we put up Fred's information and contact information up so that people can contact him? It's not that he's hard to find, but of course, we owe it to Mabuhay Credit Union and Fred to put his information out there. Once again, this has been a really great 1 hour. We normally don't think we have enough to talk about, but once we do, here we are talking about different things along with the good stuff that's going on in the community. Before we end, I would like to give the floor to Fred also to maybe plug our upcoming programs and activities and events for the Chamber. Fred, can you please take that
let me just take a moment to take off the credit union hat and throw on the Chamber of Commerce hat with the mug, right?
Nice.
So Monday we actually have a networking meeting. So this is, for physical distancing requirements, it's going to be through Zoom. You'll find this on our Facebook page, but there's the link there for you to register for it. And then this is Monday, August 3rd at 6 p.m. And also the next event beyond that is going to be our Halo networking mixer. This is going to be on August 20th. And again, that's also going to be through Zoom. We'll have a couple of raffles there for our best and most festive outfits. But those are the two events that we have lined up for the month of August. But we do have big news planned to kick off, as Janice mentioned earlier, on September 4th. But stay tuned for that. For the Chamber, again, hopefully we get to see you Monday, August 3rd, and then again on August 20th for our networking meeting and our Halo mixer.
I think Monday afternoon will be a good time for us to probably share that big project that we have with our members. So you have to go in a Zoom meeting for you to be privy of what we're cooking.
Find out, yes.
Yeah. Right. So now that they have a reason to come and join us, right, Fred?
And you can find the links to the events on Facebook.com/PhilAm Chamber of Commerce, SouthBay, LA area. You can find all throughout social media, but the event page with the link to register is on our Facebook page. And again, that's PhilAm Chamber of Commerce, SouthBay, LA area.
Thank you so much once again, and we cannot wait to be with you one more time on Monday the 3rd, so that you can find out about the things that we're trying to put together for everybody. And we promise you that it's going to be big, it's going to be fun, it's going to be something that you're also going to look forward to, as well as you may be a part of it as well. So watch for that. And before we leave, more words from our sponsor.
Sa gitna ng nakakabagabag ng panahon na ito, ay maraming paraan upang makapagtipid at makakuha ng kinakailangang tulong ukol sa inyong bayarin sa tulong ng CPA o Clean Power Alliance. Ang CPA ay lumikha ng $1 milyong COVID-19 relief program na nagdudulot ng pondong magagamit sa susunod na koleksyon ng nagseserbisyo ng enerhiya para sa mga naapektuhan ng pandemic. Bilang karagdagan, ang Clean Power Alliance ay naghahandog ng 3 uri ng pinansyal na tulong para sa nauukol na tagatangkilik sa pamamagitan ng programang CARE, at kilala din sa California Alternate Rates for Energy, ay maaari ninyong pababain ang inyong bayarin sa enerhiya ng halos 30%. Ang inyong bayarin ay maaari ding mabawasan ng halos 18% sa tulong ng FERA, na kilala din sa pangalang Family Electric Rate Assistance Program. At ang programang Medical Baseline naman ay nagdudulot ng karagdagang enerhiya na hindi makakaapekto sa inyong karaniwang bayarin na kinakailangan para sa mga gamitang pang-medisina. Upang malaman kung kayo ay karapat-dapat sa tulong na ito, bisitahin ang cleanpoweralliance.org.
There you go. This has been a production of the FACC-SLAA and Mabuhay Credit Union. And of course, with you, our viewers and our subscribers and our members of the chamber, as well as the community out there. Thanks, Fred. Thanks, Kat. And we'll see you once again next Friday, same time, same place, 5:30 p.m. for another one of our live casts or information and more towards your success. Thank you and have a great weekend.
Thank you.
Thank you.